everyone needs to shut the hell up because Tom Aspinall was the victim of a foul. He wasn't the guy that went out there and fouled Ciryl Gane. It was unintentional, and Dana White was asked about that in the post-fight presser. How do you determine unintentional versus intentional? His response was, I don't know. And the reality is, how do you do that? Okay, unless you know Ciryl Gane says beforehand, I'm going to foul him, I'm going to poke him in the eye. Unless you hear someone say that, it's always unintentional. I don't think any fighter means to poke somebody in the eye. And now, granted, a lot of you are immediately going to start talking about John Jones and other people in the past that have eye poked people. But generally, fighters want to land with a fist because they want to knock someone out and they want to do damage. Now, let's talk about the fight real quick. Fight started. It was a close fight. It was an entertaining fight. Both men were bringing it. Ciryl Gane looked really good. Obviously, he landed that big right hand. It shattered the nose of Tom Aspinall. There was blood all over the face. And Ciryl was landing more shots, okay? Would he have won that round? Yeah, he was going to win that one round. But there's 5 rounds in a championship fight and anything could have happened. Yes, it was looking good for Ciryl early. He was able to stop a takedown and maybe Tom was starting to get a little bit tired. That doesn't matter because the way you prepare as an athlete is to empty the tank for every round and then to be able to fully recover in the 60-second time period that you have to break, okay? So getting tired at the end of a round doesn't matter. Can you recover in 60 seconds? That's what really matters, how quickly you recover. That's the sign of true fitness. So anyway, the eye poke happens. Tom straight away says that he can't see. Now, all the MMA critics and every expert and every person that's never fought a goddamn day in their life. I've seen streamers online. Some guy was calling him all kinds of names and this and that. The man looked like he couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag, and he's talking about Tom Aspinall, okay? The heavyweight champion of the world, who is the best finisher in the UFC right now. So, a lot of people saying, listen, he shouldn't have said, I can't see, okay? And granted, I understand that criticism because we know as fighters, if we say we can't see, the doctor is going to stop the fight. However, I said this on my podcast on Monday, what about this eventuality? What if you can't actually see and you're starting to panic and you're like, hold on a minute, never mind the fight, I can't see, right? That is very alarming. That is very worrying. And right there and then in that moment, you've got bigger fish to fry than the fight. And by the way, let's remember, he's the guy that's been fouled. Poking people in the eye is not allowed. That is a foul, okay? So it was Ciryl Gane's fault that this happened in the first place. Again, I'm not criticizing Ciryl Gane. I thought he looked really good. He's an honorable guy. He's a great fighter. I've got tremendous respect for him. But the fingers were out. They caught him. And as we saw on the slow-mo several times, it was deep. It was knuckle deep. And of course, everybody's got an opinion on this. Tom Aspinall has gone home to England. He's gone to Ciryl Hospital and he's had yet another eye examination and he still can't see. The video says it's bad. It's not good. His right eye, he still can't see anything.
He kind of basically did the same as the guy that we saw over there. Said, it's bad, it's not good. But his eye is a little bit more closed than it was. His right eye he still can't see anything. He said it's just grey.
And the left eye is still bad. There's only 50% vision, but it's really blurry on the old school eye tests. It can only go down like a few rows, okay? So that's not good, okay? So given that a few days has passed and he still can't see, of course he couldn't see on the night. He still can't see now, unless we're all assuming that Tom Aspinall's lying, that he's making this up, right? Come on. That's a stretch. That's too much. That's absolute nonsense, okay? There's no way the guy's doing this. You can go home and say, right, it's been a while. It's recovered now. I'm really annoyed. Let's run the fight back. But he's not saying that. He's saying that he still can't see. And if he can't see 3 days after, I guarantee he couldn't see on the night of the fight. That's why he was saying it, okay? So saying that the man was looking for a way out, it's just not fair. Dustin Poirier, he was out there. He was talking about it. What's going on with Aspinall? What's going on with the eye? And I thought that video was very funny because he's clearly on a good one.
A lot of people ask me, what's up with Aspinall? What's up with the eye poke? I don't know. Only he knows how bad it was. But I've been in a lot of fights where I've got eye poked and I continue. And only he knows.
Right, I don't know if he'd had a few drinks, maybe he'd had a cheeky little edible or something for the plane, but he's kind of inebriated, shall we say. He wasn't being mean, he wasn't being nasty, he was saying that, yeah, a lot of the times he's been poked in the eye and he's continued to fight, as have most of us. And that's what I want to get to in a second, because most fighters or most fight nights or UFC pay-per-view events, somebody gets poked in the eye. So something has to change. So as I say, everyone's got an opinion, okay? There's some people out there like Aljamain Sterling that were kind of critical.
Now, I know y'all think I'm going to be on the side of Tommy, but I'm not.
Sean O'Malley's been defensive. He said to question Tom's toughness, this is the former champ O'Malley, no one wanted that more than Tom Aspinall. He wanted to fight. He wanted to fight more than we wanted to watch him fight. And that's a great point. We want to see a good fight, but when you go out there and you haven't fought in about 14, 15 months, when you're the heavyweight champion of the world, when you get given the belt because of the circumstances regarding John Jones, you want nothing more than to go out there and show the world what you're made of and take out the number one contender in Ciryl Gane. You don't want the fight to end like that, certainly when you've been through a training camp and you've been through a frustrating process. O'Malley goes on to say, you can't question Tom's toughness. You just can't. I've been poked in the eye before, not in a fight, but in practice. I've been poked in the eye, boom, whoa, you can't see. I'm done. I'm not continuing practice. Now, of course, if you don't know, which I'll be very surprised if you don't know, I have one eye, okay? I lost an eye, not due to an eye poke. It was due to a head kick, okay? I was kicked in the head by Vitor Belfort. The retina detached, then it redetached, then I got glaucoma. I've had altogether about 6 or 7 surgeries on the eye without going through it all. I can't remember exactly how many, but I've been through it regarding the eyes, okay? And it is a very, very scary time. When I retired, it's because when I had my last fight with Kelvin Gastelum, I started having issues with my good eye. And I started to think that I was going to go blind, okay? And I was sitting in a nightclub and I started to cry because I thought, oh my God, I don't believe this. I'm going to go blind. Everything that all the doctors warned me about is coming true. I'm not going to see my kids grow up. It's a very, very scary proposition, okay? Think about this. Think about you losing your vision, okay? Nobody wants that. It's awful. It's scary as hell. And there's people out there chatting shame on those guys. So what needs to happen next? Well, first of all, Tom needs to recover, get better, which I'm sure it will. Okay, they've done the eye test. They've looked at the retina and they've done everything there. Apparently still got vision problems right now. I'm sure given a week or two, he'll be fine. They need to run the fight back ASAP. Hopefully they put the fight on at the end of the year. But going forward, there needs to be a change. Because as I said, almost every event, there's been eye pokes, okay? Accidental, intentional, unintentional, whatever you want to call it, they happen. Because the rule right now is, because we have the fingers out, okay, the fingerless gloves, the rule is we have to have the fingers up like this. I hate that rule. It's stupid. You can't go like that. They've got to be like that. But the time it takes for this to happen is nothing. It's a nanosecond, okay? And when people come in and they rush in and they go to stop a takedown, if the hands are like this, oh, they're going like this and they're stopping and they're grabbing and they're doing this and they're clinching, whatever, right? When you're on your feet, you got to have a closed fist. Simple as that. Not tight, not squeezed, not clenched, but the fingers bent in almost fist-like kind of shape. Maybe if you're throwing a kick, because when you throw a kick, a lot of people, the arm comes down to accentuate, then you can open the fist a little bit. When you're parrying a jab or a straight right, you can open the fist. But if you're not engaging, you have to be like this. And of course, if you're throwing a punch, you have to have your fist closed. And if you don't, the referee straight away, without stopping them, says, hey, fingers, fingers. So then they know to close them a little bit. And if they continue to do it, they say, one more time, I'm going to take a point. And if they continue doing this, they stop the fight and say, right, you have been warned on multiple occasions. You are losing a point. Simple as that. If they do poke them in the eye, they take a point, regardless whether or not it was intentional or unintentional. It doesn't matter. Jim Miller did a video on this where he talked about it. He said, hey, I've never poked anyone in the eye. The eye pokes happen because of that little inner bitch. Something like that. I haven't seen the video for a while.
You want to know a secret? I've got hours inside the octagon wearing these gloves. It's not the gloves. I can close my fist. I can bend the ends of my fingers without the glove even moving. So if it was the glove that held my hand open, I could still go like that. But like most of these eye pokes, it's like that. My hand's not getting held open like that. Are you fucking kidding me? What causes the eye pokes is that little bitch inside that's like being passive and avoiding the fight and not being aggressive. And that little voice needs to get punished by an immediate point being taken away. And in my opinion, a portion of the purse. And then I think you would see him stop real quick because it's not the gloves.
But he's kind of got a point, right? Sometimes accidentally they do happen, but we need to be responsible for our weapons. And if we know that if one happens, we're going to lose a point, and in a 3-round fight that is massively impactful, if that happens, there's going to be a lot less eye pokes. And if someone accidentally pokes someone in the eye and it was unintentional, well, hard lines. So what? Who cares? The sport will improve, less fights will get cancelled, there will be less injuries, and situations like this will not occur. And I guarantee most fighters would be on board with this. The Worldwide Athletic Commission should all say, right, that's it, going forward to hopefully eradicate eye pokes. We just got to make a fist. It is the most simple fix in the world. Okay, maybe there's something that I'm overlooking, but I don't think I am. Obviously, when you're clinching and grappling, you can do all that stuff there. But it's when the fighters are at a distance. It's when they close the distance and they engage, or when they throw punches or they try and stop a takedown, that the fingers come out and then they poke them in the eye. It's got to stop. Ciryl Gane wasn't intentional. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but it was a bad one. And the real person that suffered here is Tom Aspinall. He's the one that still can't see. He's the one that's been out the octagon for a long time. He's the one that wanted to come back and show the world how good he was. And then now he has the entire world calling him a bitch, calling him a quitter, calling him everything under the sun. There is some people that came out and defended him, of course, but it's a little bit out of order, man. The guy's been in there and put on so many great performances. I guess I kind of understand it a little bit, but when you see that the guy still can't see 3 days later, and there's still people talking online